Hello YouTube. Today we're going to talk about communication. One of you reached out and said after the last video that you would like a video on communication. What is communication? What does it mean? What does it mean to speak truth and to be truth? What does it mean to see illusion, to know illusion? Firstly, in order to communicate, you have to realize the truth of this universe. You have to realize the illusions of this universe, what is true and what is not true. That which we can point on and we can agree exists as two or more individuals, we call that an objective truth. We point at the moon and we say, the moon exists. The moon reflects light from the sun, and the sun shines, shining light onto the moon. These are objective truths that we see, that we can state and we can communicate with. So when we communicate and we wish to communicate truthfully, we have to take into reconsideration the things that we say. Are they true or are they not true? Are they true or are they lies? However, from the perspective of the lower consciousness and the consciousness of that which do not understand truth, it might be preferred to speak of your opinions and beliefs unto others, believing you are speaking truths. This is one of the illusions that we have to break through when we communicate. So, if you were to say something like, I believe in God, you are stating an opinion and a belief. If you were to say something such as, President believes in God, or President stated that he believes in God, we are now stating an observed event. We are observing something that might have happened. But one is an opinion and one is a fact about that. What we have to learn in order to communicate truth is that we have to understand the difference between the opinions and the objective truths. We look at the moon and we say the moon reflects the light of the sun. This is the truth. But then another man comes and he says the moon is boring. The moon doesn't look nice. The moon is appalling. The moon is hated. I hate the moon. I hate that. I love that. And this is the illusion. This is the opinions. And these are not true. These are just statements of beliefs. So what you have to do is you have to surpass your desire to express your beliefs and your opinions, because those things ultimately are not true. Subjectively, to that consciousness that speaks of these things, it is true to it and only it. And that subjective experience brings upon suffering. Then, instead, when you speak of truths, you speak of events that have happened. You speak of quotations of things that people have said. And these things have really been said by people. So you have to understand simply that what you believe is true is not important, but what you can observe that is true is what is true. From one perspective of the older people living on Earth, there was this common myth and common cultural idea that the sun rises in the morning and it sets in the evening. And for a long time people spoke about the sun and the moon in these ways. Rising sun, rising moon, falling sun, falling moon. Because from the perspective of living on Earth, seeing these things happening, we assume that it is the object that is moving and not us. It's a kind of relativity. Then we learned about the truth, that it is not that way. And then we learned yet again about other things in life, that truths is the objective statements, the things that we can agree upon exists. And the opinions of the moon and the opinions of the sun doesn't affect its motion. It doesn't affect its position on the sky. And it also doesn't affect its property of reflecting light or of shining light. You have to realize that belief and opinion is not truth. It is just belief and opinion. So you have to move away from these concepts and you have to move into truth. Seeing truth, knowing truth, speaking truth, and hearing truth. The way it works is simply this. If you take a telescope and you aim this telescope out into the universe, then you start looking at suns and stars, planets, moons. Maybe you're looking on Earth, you're looking at nature, fishes, lions, tigers, animals, even humans. And the one thing you will not find with your strong telescope is evidence of good and bad, because it doesn't exist. You won't find a good star. You won't find a bad star, a good lion or a bad lion. You won't find these things anywhere. Because it is stated that of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, because you will surely give birth to death. Because the truth is, there is no morality. There is no good and bad. And so when we communicate using good or bad, we are communicating using lies. But when you become the scientist of life, the scientist of yourself, the master of self, then when you communicate, you can choose only to communicating truths. That which we see, that we can agree upon exists, and that upon which does not exist, that we cannot agree exists, is not real. So when you learn to communicate truthfully, you have to understand the difference between truth and lies, truth and illusion. If you have any other comments or questions regarding this, you can use the comment section. If you'd wish to see another video made on this topic or any other topic, you can of course make a comment and ask for it. Too long didn't read. Summarization, simply that. Just learn to differentiate the truth from the illusion, and you won't be suffering. You won't be a victim of it. Simply you'll be the observer of the universe.